apologize for the delay, but the CEO of WorldSkills International are working the alignment of WorldSkills regional, involve America. Then he asked me about some things. Apologize for the delay. We can start. Bom dia a todos. Agradeço os tradutores.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the interpreters. I'd like to thank the presence of everyone. It's important to use the interpretation mode in case you don't understand Portuguese. There is this little globe at the bottom of the screen. Just press it and choose the language. One of the suggestions that I want to make is according to the Q&A session, if it's going to take place in the end or if you can ask questions during the presentation. Today, we're going to have the webinar, Achieving Excellence, Performance Excellence at WorldSkills, skill number 5. I have two professionals that have added several tools that are most used in quality programs, and they are here to tell us very good references. They have achieved a result which is a benchmark. I'm not going to anticipate the results, but I have to say it is a historic result for any country. I would like to invite here Mr. Fernando Telli and Mr. Jorge Oliveira to make their presentations. And I thank you, both gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for this nice introduction. I am the one who thank you for giving me the opportunity of bringing my presentation. I'd like to thank Mirino and Paul. We're going to be sharing a very important work. The way we achieved performance excellence in computer-aided design, CAD. I think it would be easier if we have questions by the end of the presentation so that we do not interrupt our line of thought. Mirino is going to be helping me changing the slides. I'm going to do the first presentation. My name is Fernando Telli. I am a professional education expert and project and infrastructure management. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be here and introduce my work for the Americas. I was born in the interior of the state of São Paulo. This is the map of Brazil, a country I'm very proud of, and I was born here, where it shows, in the interior of the state of São Paulo. I began my professional activity at the Senai School in Bauru, São Paulo. I had the privilege of studying mechanical engineering. I had the opportunity to meet excellent professionals who helped me not only in the technical aspect, but also the human aspect of the work. This is my family. This is the latest picture we had just before the pandemic, where we could get together. I just can't wait for the time that we go back to embracing each other. I believe that by the end of the year, we'll be able to hug each other. As my hobbies, I love traveling. When you travel, you expand your knowledge, you get to know other cultures. Also, 3D print is another hobby. I think it's something fantastic. I'm deep diving into this technology because I am an expert in computer-aided design. And this is the fascinating technology, the 3D. Also, um, I have been teaching pastry making. I just can't see uh, the time to go back to uh, take on courses on pastry making. There is one quote by Thomas Jefferson that says, I'm a great believer in luck, and I find it the harder I work, the more I have of it. This is my initial part of the presentation. I have the slides translated into Spanish and English, and I hope you understand my presentation better this way. So all the presentation will be in two languages. Hi, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here representing my country, Brazil. I'd like to thank Mr. Spada for the invitation, all the foreign relations team here at Fiesp. I have known Telly for about 12 years. In 2009, we began our trajectory, Telly a little before, and we joined forces to introduce to you a little bit of the results of our work. My name is George Oliveira. I am a professional practice advisor at the São Bernardo do Campo Senai School. I have studied in different places, first at Senai Avó, and then Senai Moca, Suíço Brasileiro, Senai Moca, and now Senai São Bernardo do Campo. As my hobbies, I love to study and learn. I love to do research as well. My family, that's the picture you see here. My little daughter is a result of my work. I'm working for my family, especially for her. Also, among my hobbies is traveling. Also, friends. I have cultivated a lot of friends all over the world, and I believe we can and have the capacity of changing the world into a better world. And also work. I love working to see results. As Tally uh, shared with you about his love of Brazil, I have all my work based here in Brazil, and I have traveled extensively throughout the country and done different activities. Here, we define a little bit of what world skills is all about, but all here that are here taking place or taking part of this competition know that this is an international competition. We have some images here of some competitors, including Kelly, who participated in Helsinki in 2005, where he stood out and opened Brazil to this area. I have had the opportunity of working with Telly very successfully in 2010. Telly participated in the first WorldSkills America as an assessment judge. We have divided the presentation among us, so we're going to be taking turns, Fernando and Telly. I have a respect and a special affection for WorldSkills America. I had the privilege of beginning at WorldSkills America as a assessment judge. I had also the privilege of taking part of competitions that took place in Bogota, Chile, and Brazil. I have worked giving the support to the competition that took place in different years. I have a deep respect and a lot of affection for this competition that have given opportunity for everyone in the Americans with those skills. Wonderful skills. So can you tell us a little bit about computer-aided design? Well, I'll tell you. Computer-aided design is one of the skills that had more transformations from uh, old tools, quote unquote. Today we have tools that does everything digitally. We have from a pen to an airplane that we can have those tools to do it in a digital form. Here we have a 3D component. We have also the technical drawing below in order to make it easy, its construction. We have the uh, pager and tachymeters, the tools that we use to digitalize this design. So the computer-aided design is a tool that changes frequently. Well, we brought you this slide so that you know a little bit better. We have uh, different modalities in CAD, and we brought this so that you know a little bit more about the dynamics and how professionals develop their work in different areas. So within the labor market, professionals assemble machine. They work with animation, modeling of metal structures, and also involves the plastic parts and modeling. And here we have innovative technologies that have already been implemented, both worldwide as well as in the labor market. 3D today is a reality. I believe uh, many schools have access to those pieces of equipment. It is something that is has spread throughout the market. So the world competition brings in this sort of tools. Uh, Development, international technical documentation, prototyping, 3D scanning, and also the development of mechanical projects. Our competitors are prepared so that they are able to face several challenges. For example, you have to project an airplane, they have to deliver the result. The labor, tell us, George, a little bit about the labor market in the CAD area. Well, according to the images that you saw from micro to macro, we're able to simulate all the uh, working of a complete plant. The growth of this profession is amazing. A project manager uh, gets from 750 to 2,520 dollars, which is the highest value, an average of $1,460. That's the uh, average salary. We focus on the best professionals for the industry according to results they present. What we see is that, as you can see, these are very good salaries. Therefore, the profession has become very attractive. We have seen people looking for this area, specifically computer-aided design. In São Paulo, Brazil, we have courses that aimed at specific specialties, both as an entire course or a technical complement. We just gave you this overview so that you could see how strong it is and widespread in the labor market. Now we're going to bring you some of the results here in Brazil. It was not easy, Telly, right? Well, absolutely. To bring results have not been able, but of course, everything starts with the first step. In the beginning, we saw how hard it was to achieve results, but with a lot of hard work, we were able to achieve good work. I believe this uh, has to do with teamwork. This slide shows what a teamwork is all about. I love Formula One. I believe that many people like this sports activity as well. This is a modality where they are constantly developing technologies. We have three major references, including a Brazilian reference, which we're very proud of, Ayrton Senna, the Formula One car driver. If one asks us about the main references, Ayrton Senna is always in the first place. We're very proud of him. He left a good legacy. We also have Schumacher and Hamilton, important pilots that uh, competed in Formula One races. Is it enough to have only the best pilots? And here's a question. Is it enough to have the best cars? I believe these answers are answered here in the most dynamic image. And of course, not. There is a specific quote that says a team makes a difference and nobody gets any place by himself or herself. Imagine if uh, some of these professionals at the moment of a pit stop, which is critical for this kind of competition, if one of the professionals did not do his work properly, or for example, does not fill up the tank the way it should be for a split second, makes all the difference. So we have the podium competitors that got ahead fractions of seconds and were able to win the race. It is important to say that we work as a team. Myself, Professor George, and so many others that have contributed to this modality form a team. And the team makes all the difference. And the team is going to celebrate together the results of the competition. There's one word that we should always have in mind, challenge. It's a major challenge. This image represents the summary of the work team. You put it well, the example of Formula One. My question is, what is the most important role, if not all? It's one detail, it's one uh, little detail that's going to catapult a competitor to be the winner. We have some images here that translates the effort Telly mentioned before. We know that behind all efforts, there's a lot of work. Here we see competitors that have represented the country in the past 10 years. That is one decade of work. We have results from 2009 to 2019. We have selected these guides that show how important a team is. They all work for high performance results. Now, we wanted to bring you these images, and now we're going to tell you a little bit about methodologies. If we look here from 2009 and 2019, we got two gold medals and two uh, silver medals. Uh, some people have said, well, these guys are very lucky, but it's not lucky. It's not luck. It's work, work, and work in order to achieve this performance. And all these competitors represented Brazil, and all of them come from the state of São Paulo. And again, is it easy to put all these competitors in the podium? I always remember when they say the impossible is almost always what was never tried. I think it is possible to get there. To We do the work, we achieve our goals, we are skilled enough to achieve what we want. And of course, we need to have a goal, an objective. We can correlate Formula One with the workstation. We have 3D computers, we have high performance computers, scanners, notebooks, and we have the whole infrastructure. This is our Formula One car, if you will. The whole team is going to work so that this competitor achieves high performance by using WorldSkills tools. And this leads the technology. This kind of work is the one that focuses on new technology. By doing this, focusing on technologies, we give our people access to new tools. By doing this, they're going to uh, know exactly how to prepare for international competitions. This is an example of weekly training hours from Monday to Sunday. And how about the training hours? We begin at 7:30 in the morning and finishing at 10 at night. We have a chronometer which controls the whole time. It is a work that demands a lot of focus and effort. Not only does it involve mental work, but it also includes physical activities. We are kind of a, a robot that needs to really do things according to a schedule. If we do not have focus, we'll never achieve the results. It's the energy concentration, and mind has to be aligned with body so that we can achieve good results. I always say uh, learning how to master time is one of the best techniques for decision making so that you can do an activity, whether WorldSkills or your professional activity. Learning how to master time is fundamental, crucial. Mastering time is a way to take us to the desired results. Here, some of these strategies and methodologies. We began by implementing quality tools in which we have added assessment procedures, skills radar, Pareto diagram, cause and effect, Ishikawa, and activity ramps. By adapting those quality tools, we're able to improve our training program. We're going to explore each one of them, each one of those tools. It's not only for competition, we're going to try to correlate them to the activities we can develop, whether at school, with our families, in our work, etc. One of the main tools we use is the assessment procedures. dedicated to technical data sheet. Uh, I always give an example of baking a cake. I'm sure that most of you uh, made a cake once in your life. By following a recipe, things get much easier. If you have a step-by-step recipe, you're never going to forget ingredients. Imagine if you don't have this recipe, if you forget to add some ingredients, of course, the cake will not be as expected. This is the kind of analogy we wanted to make. We wanted to create a kind of cake recipe. What do I mean by that? By our assessment uh, procedures, we are going to have a design and present our project. Based on this, we are able to create the checklist procedures in order to achieve the this skill uh, for world competition. Look at how many skills they have to achieve. And here we had a real checklist to see whether all items are contemplated and also to check the time it took for him or her to achieve each one of those activities. When they go through all these assessments and go through all these criteria, they will uh, reach the final criteria. So how to uh, do the assembling design? Competitors have to deliver a technical assembling of a part, but take a look at how many steps they have to go through in order to achieve uh, performance excellence and achieve good results according to this criteria. This a technical list helps competitors to prepare them to participate in a competition. It is important to break down those criteria to create this quote unquote cake recipe so that no ingredient or element would be forgotten. Very good. Well put, Kelly. And what to do with all the data? Here we have a dashboard where we're able to see the most critical situations to be solved or the most critical challenges uh, to be faced. Uh, we focus on the supercritical challenges and then we solve the less critical ones. Uh, I believe you all know the Pareto diagram. We have in red showing the most critical points we had to observe. Then we go on an action plan. If my professional has some difficulty in working with robots or any areas, what should we do? An action plan in order to solve this problem. The next slide, Tally is going to map computer. There's another criteria that we use, which is skills rater. What does it mean? Well, first of all, we have a matrix of skills, whether technical or social emotional skills that we have to work with our students. When we have this skills matrix, we are able to have the profile demanded from this competitor or required, whether technical, social, emotional skills. And by doing this, we're able to assess when I have this competent skill, I'm able to do a practical assessment and allow students to do a self-assessment. This is really important so that they can have this self-criticism. They can self-assess themselves. So we have this skills rater, and by doing this, we're able to see whether this competitor, a student or professional, have all these points developed according to criteria we gave them. This matrix gives us a broad view of the enhancements that should be done, what should be worked with competitors as to social, emotional skills, etc.
eu vou complementar no próximo, Kelly, porque ela realmente vai dar andamento. Como fazer, né,
So
esse profissional atingir a alta performance?
how do we
Fazer ele
help
conhecer,
professionals
ter
to
todo o
achieve
conhecimento, ter
high
todas as
performance?
habilidades,
In order to
através
have
do
all
uso da
skills
ferramenta
and knowledge
Microsoft, por
and
exemplo,
learn how
isso
to
vai
use
tornando o
software
processo mais
tools,
fácil.
I
Mas
can
a partir do
guarantee this is
momento
the
que ele atinge o
easiest steps.
telefone de
But
comentar
when
e a
they
autoavaliação, se
achieve
ele conseguir ser
self-assessment,
o
in other
suficiente para
words, if
suprir
they can
o seu
assess their
nível
own work in order to
tecnológico,
raise the
nós
bar
criamos
in terms
uma
of
estratégia que
technological
conhecemos de
skills,
trabalho de rampa. Esse
we
trabalho de rampa,
go
a
on the
gente
next
faz
stage,
uma
which
análise do
is the
competidor e
learning
precisa
ramps,
melhorar
the
naquele
so-called
momento.
learning
E
ramps.
aquela
That
situação,
means
a gente começa a trabalhar de forma
we
a suprir
begin
exatamente. Por
working
que
at a
tem essa imagem
specific
dos atletas correndo? Porque eles
areas of
precisam
our
fazer uma
competitors' needs.
maratona de
Uh,
42
like
quilômetros.
these guys who
Só
are just
que,
beginning to
se
run,
esse atleta
they have to go
correr
and
42
run
quilômetros
42
todos os
kilometers in
dias,
a marathon. If those
certamente
athletes
no dia da
run
prova,
42
ele não
kilometers every
conseguirá
single day,
atingir os
in the
42 quilômetros
day
em
of
alta
the
performance
competition,
no
they
final da
will
prova dele.
not
Então
have
ele
their best
precisa que
performance
o
in the
processo
day
de
of the
rampa,
competition.
que é
So they
fazer
need
aquela
to have this
ginástica muscular,
learning ramp process,
física, cerebral,
which is to
psicológica, para
do
que ele possa no dia
psychological and
estar no
mental
seu melhor
activities
momento
so that
para atingir.
that very
E
day they're on the
exatamente
best
o que o Tele está mostrando lá,
position
ponto de
to
inflexão
achieve their
da
best
curva é o
performance.
ponto em
And
que
the
o
inflection
profissional
point
vai
in the
chegar e vai atingir a
curve
sua alta
is
performance.
where
Ele não pode
professionals are
atingir
going
antes
to
do dia. Se
achieve
ele
their
atingir
best
antes do
performance. They
dia,
cannot
já
achieve the
começa
best
toda
performance
a descendente.
before the
É isso,
competition day,
a
because if they
decrescente.
do that,
E essa curva
the
é que
curve
vai
goes
poder,
down.
na
When
sua
they achieve
performance
the
no
best
treinamento,
performance,
comprometer o
the
resultado.
curve
Então,
achieves.
nós trabalhamos em cima
The curve
de
goes down.
gráficos, e
So we
essa
use
rampa aqui, pessoal,
these kind of
essa
graphs.
imagem, a gente
Just
pode
as
discutir ela por cerca de 1 hora, duas,
we
três
can
horas, em
discuss
cima de
this
cada ponto,
image uh,
porque você passa a observar
for
o
1 or 2 hours
competidor ou o
based
profissional.
on each one of
A gente
those
acaba
uh, points
conversando,
that
né, Tele, sobre
you see
os
here on the curve.
competidores.
Uh,
E isso, pessoal,
we
é
always talk about
para
competitors,
o
but
trabalho profissional em si.
this
A gente
is
consegue atingir
regards
alta
to
performance
professional
se a
work
gente
in
aplicar as
itself.
técnicas
We're able
de
to achieve
trabalho
best performance if we
que
apply
nós estamos
a
desenvolvendo,
coherent
né? Então,
techniques
essa
that we develop. In other words, focus. And here, there's an important phase. When we get to a competition, when we finish this uh, part, we have an analysis planning or planning analysis, and there we do assessment, we correct some
posso
routes
complementar
for the
essa fala?
next stages.
Importante.
There's one thing
Essa
I'd like to add,
pós-competição,
Telis.
pessoal, o
This
pós-simulado,
post-competition
é um
phase
diagnóstico
or
aonde você consegue
post-simulation is
estratificar
a
todo o perfil daquele
diagnosis where
profissional
we can
dos mais
assess
fortes
the
e
profile
pontos
of
a
those
serem
professionals,
melhorados.
the stronger points and the weaker points that need to be improved. Uh, because it is an international competition, we have to see uh, the international normative references. Here in Brazil, we have the Brazilian Association of Standard Norms. Of course, because we are going international, we have to uh, abide by international rules. Uh, a little bit about the Brazilian Association of Technical Standards. Uh, when I first got in, the association, I saw that some of those norm standards were not updated. They were outdated. So we wanted to reassess those norms. Uh, joined, we put together a lot of professionals, people from industry, academia, and also people who work in different associations in order to have a work team to uh, begin working the works on of this commission to uh, upgrade these norms. When we finished the stage, we wanted to contribute worldwide. So we knocked at the ISO door. We got all the technical elements so that we could be accepted as a member. It was a lot of technical work. We have submitted our technical standards to ISO, and today ISO uh, Brazil is part of ISO TC CEE 237 or ISO TC 10. Today, we are aligned with international technical commissions. Our technical norms reflect what is being discussed worldwide. Why do I say that these norms are so important? They are our guide. Brazilian Standard Association is very important in order to professionalize several activities in Brazil. So it is important to be aligned
Pessoal, e quem
to
representa
international
o Brasil
associations.
na ISO, nessa
He,
organização, é o
what he didn't
Fernando Telli,
mention
pessoal.
is that he himself, Fernando Telli, represents Brazil. He is a very uh, modest person, if you will. When we master the process, all this graphic analysis, international standards, assessment tools, uh, techniques, and software tools, and social, emotional, and technical aspects. By doing this, we're going to see how to deliver good results in international competition and put our design according to technical international standards. Our references or have always been European and Asian activities. We wanted to know what they did to have a good results. When we mastered all this process, today Brazil has become an international reference worldwide. And now they want to know how we have developed such good processes for international competitions. This was the standard we used to uh, deliver or submit. And below you see the project that we submit now. Of course, all these drawings, they go throughout the world, so they want to know how we achieve the results. We apply these procedures and techniques. These is our international standard uh,
O legal, né,
tools
que você bem colocou,
or
é que
procedures.
hoje uma produção
As you
de um produto
said,
ou de um
today,
serviço, ele tem todas
to
as
produce a
informações
product,
técnicas e
they
tecnológicas
must have
garantando
all
a sua fabricação
technological and
e a sua
technical
aplicação.
procedures that
Depois de
guarantee its
realizado
application.
o
When
produto, você vai
product is
testar e ela
achieved,
garante o seu funcionamento.
the product is going to be tested and to see whether it works or not. And it's important because this product has to be able to work any part of the world. If this design goes into production, whether in Asia, the Americas, or Europe, then any technician who master this activity will be able to
E a
reproduce
qualidade dessa
this
imagem?
design and
A
produce
gente passa a
good
observar
product. And how about the quality
essa,
of
essa,
images?
aqui,
When we see here in this slide, we have this automotive engine. We have fluid transporter, which can be chemical fluids or whatever. We have a can opener. We have this device here that is used for fishing. This is used so that uh, we know that professionals may be able to do the right assessment. This is one of the most difficult uh, tests to be performed. There are four words that are very important and very much used by our Professor Espada, which are win, convince, charm, and fascinate. Uh, you have to convince people of what you have to say, you have to charm them, and finally, fascinate them. After doing this, people will see you with other eyes. If you want to add anything, you're more than welcome, Thales. Well, when we win, convince, charm, and fascinate, whether in competition or doing the regular work, you achieve this value. Assessment and replanning are crucial. The first image, many times we see competitors. Where do I go? What to do now? This situation goes on and on, uh, especially in the beginning of activities. There is one technique which is used by competitors. That's the bird, a paper bird, which is made in Japan. If a person produces 1,000 of these birds, they will be able to achieve their goals. What does it take for a person to achieve their objectives? And then in this case, doing 1,000 times the same paper bird. Well, first is to put the focus on results. By producing this bird, there's one point of the process that you you can do it with your eyes closed, and that is the challenge. By doing this, you challenge yourself and you increase the focus on the results. That's why we have 10 works of work and results, because we usually put the focus where it is due. We always say that it's a kind of mental exercise. You have this procedure, you have to fold the paper and to convert it into a bird, this origami technique. If you uh, do it over and over, I can do it even with my um, eyes closed. If you do it over and over and you repeat this procedure, you master the process. Now, how do we accept what is needed to be a competitor in our competition? Uh, we can see here that we are attracted by several things that take our focus away from our objective. And the main aspect of our work is to focus and not divert our attention. To the right, you see this brain which is focused right to the result. When professionals know their limits, our role is to give that professional with several situations so that they can keep on with his or her high performance. We are about to finish our presentation, but I have to bring you this image. For me, It was one of the most important legacies of this process, which is the training of teachers and new competitors. Here we see a picture of myself and other guys, Professor George, and other technical professionals that always wanted to convey this knowledge. Everything that I learned for the competition, we have to convey this knowledge to our professionals of Senai, São Paulo, and all over Brazil. We begin by training uh, teachers from 2005. Uh, we have just completed 20 years. This is a technical training. We have conducted technical workshops, and today it's all online. We have created a culture of training of students and teachers in computer-aided design. This at the bottom is a timeline. This profession has undergone several processes. Today, we talk a lot about Industry 4.0. The computer-aided technologies is one of the tools that allowed us to get to Industry 4.0. Today, we have 3D print, uh, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and computer-aided design gives the support for Industry 4.0. Along those years, we have worked on this to transfer technology to those professionals. I reckon that we have trained around 600 professionals in Senai, São Paulo, 6 to 8 teachers for any of the Senai schools we have in São Paulo. So we can say that we have a solid training capacity. We have many colleagues that apply these methodologies in training their students. Wonderful, Tally. Just one comment. The picture that you see with competitors have between 18 to 20,000 hours of training. One, as he said, one of the major legacies is to take all this knowledge and transfer them to professionals of the Senai network. This implies really hard work. We were able to have simultaneously 6 or 7 groups to convey this knowledge in an organized way, from basic to advanced. I wanted just to highlight this because, of course, it conveys a lot of works of hours. It implies a lot of working hours. This is just an overview about this teacher training program. This is a structure. We have created this so-called knowledge pyramid. All professionals went through this basic cycle, intermediary, and then advanced cycles. We have adopted this methodology. We have structured this work with the support of technology management, and along those 15 years, we're able to do this training program. Now we're about to wrap up. This is our last slide. I want to go back to what I was saying. Is it possible to achieve this excellence performance result? Is it too far away when we talk about Brazil or the Americas? I'd like to show you this image here, which is, for me, quite strong. It brings the latest result of the world competition that we had in Russia. I had the privilege of taking part in the Americas competition in Chile. And here, I want to highlight Jennifer Cardono from Colombia. This podium shows the strength of the Americas. Look how wonderful, what a wonderful podium. Brazil, Colombia, and South Korea. So we always think, well, we are a quote unquote underdeveloped countries which lack technology and other aspects. But here we are together with South Korea and right there at the podium. Uh, uh, Jennifer Cardona was the champion in Chile, and she won the competition in the Americas. And I'd like to stress that this is an important project. She made history first because she's from South America. We and she is the first woman competitor to achieve a medal in this area. You can really feel how happy she is. We see that our continent here, South and Latin America countries, is having visibility, is achieving the overdue visibility. Uh, This we're very proud of this to see that the Americas, Latin America is growing, it's showing another aspect, which is high performance. It's really impressive. And because she is the first young lady to get on the podium in computer-aided design modality. And we're very proud of her and of this situation. We expect and hope that in the next competition, we have more countries participate and achieve more or better results. We have Colombia now that shows the force of the Americas in the world competition. So I'd like to congratulate the Colombia team. They're very focused, have always been, and we are very proud to see Jennifer going in the podium. We're going to finish our presentation with these two images. Luck smiles for those who are prepared. This is an absolute truth. When we are prepared, we are prepared to achieve our goal. And here, there's another quote that I like. It's never been luck, it's always been Senai. That means we have always the support of Senai. Senai in Brazil plays a fundamental role in social and professional transformation for the lives of many young people. I get really emotional here. I'm very proud of being part of this team. I work as a professional education expert. I'm in the best place possible. I have just celebrated 16 years since I first joined Senai São Paulo, and my greatest wish is to go on uh, helping young people. This is mission, the mission that Senai São Paulo has always had. I am today a professional who is trying to contribute to the technical training of so many young people. I'm just like you. I get really emotional. I'd like to thank Sanai for everything it gave me, and also thank the opportunity of what we are going to able to do for the Americas. A lot of good stuff is ahead of us, and being united, we are stronger. Education is really transformational, and we are very sure about that. Education leads transformation. Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure. Here you see our contact information. We have our email and LinkedIn, telephone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Well, I'd like to thank George and Telly. We have two questions for you. The first one comes from Milton Sanchez. What kind of requirements is it necessary to be part of the team? Well, you answer and I complement. Okay. Well, there's one point that makes a difference, which is the will to win. Second is be technically skilled. If you have both skills, you're going to meet your goal. Well, this is really right. The will is really number one skill that you need. Another question, Will or Paul? The question refers to the funding of those international competitions. Well, I believe this will be better answered by Professor Espada. Okay. In the beginning of our work, it's difficult to convince leaders of institutions because financial aspects are always restrictive, especially in Latin American countries. If some countries are more or less developed. In the beginning, when I first started 30-something years ago, the work was done brick by brick. We would knock at everybody's doors. Then we went to another step and looked for the help of companies. Usually companies are the ones that sponsor this kind of work. We had at one point, at one competition, 83 sponsoring companies. Sometimes companies in the same technological areas, competitors joining forces to help us, like car manufacturers, sometimes more than 2 or 3 of car manufacturing companies would join forces and fund us. Short-term results are almost impossible to achieve. We can tell for sure that when we achieve positive results, all leaders will want to join in. It is a process that when we achieve that stage, leaders will begin joining in and things get easier, but it all depends on the conditions of every country. I believe that all educators can have a 10-year framework that to have winners. In some countries, specifically Nordic countries, their own families pay for the competitors' trip abroad. But of course, families go after support, financial support. I believe you have to be open and work for funding. I just want to say and highlight that in the beginning, here in Brazil, and I know other countries as well, I can tell you that in the beginning, things are very difficult, but we have to be um, really determined. Any other questions? Oh, we just got a last question. This comes from Juliano dos Santos. Good afternoon, Fernando. My name is Juliano from Barra Mansa. Well, I question is it possible to share the material to train our Olympic competitors? Jorge, it's you or me? Well, I'll do it. Well, we can do that. Technological transference or know-how is one of the major legacy we have. I believe we are able to make this presentation and methodology available. And of course, making all this available, uh, you have to really work on it in order to achieve good results, but we can make them available no problem. Uh, we have always believed in having everybody working together to have professionals, countries, Americas all growing together. No problem. We'll make them available. Not least because the teamwork always grows because everybody uh, collaborates in the process. It, one or two persons will not be able to do the job. It's important to have everybody together. Well, there's now the last question. The, uh, the world skills competition skills are based only on technological aspects. No, not at all. When you talk about skills, we have different areas. We have areas aimed at uh, technology, mechatronics, and CAD, etc. But we also have service skills, which are is restaurant gastronomy, hair care. There are over 50 skills that take part in world competitors. It's not only technological skills. You have very different skills, and there are different modalities as well. There's one stage which comes before the competition, which are the different sorts of skills. There are different skills that are used, not only technological. Uh, just adding to what you said, the WorldSkills Americas, there were new skills like photovoltaic power and irrigation. Agriculture is very important in many countries. That's why skills related to agriculture is important. I'd like to thank each and every one of you who have been with us. I'd like to thank Teles and Jorge Oliveira uh, with the very high performance in their work. They are also responsible for all CAD laboratories and the training of teachers. I'm going to find excellence and multiply it throughout our network. We are responsible for the social and economic transformation of all these young people. And for this, of course, we need to have this spirit of sharing, I'd like to thank George and Telly for sharing their experiences, and thank you all who have taken part in this webinar. I'm sure the strategies used for computer-aided design can also be applied for other professions. At the several points, you see focus, the applying scientific concepts in every area for continuous improvement. So once again, Georgie and Telly, thank you so much. And thank you all who joined in. And see you in October. We'll have another meeting. The objective of WorldSkills America through this webinar is to share experience. I always say that education is borderless. The only way to give more dignity to everyone who inhabits planet Earth is by education. So again, thank you very much uh, to all members of Tanai and everybody who is part of our board. Congratulations on your work. So let's continue with this action of sharing knowledge. Thank you also the interpreters who are helping us. Thank you so very much, Paul, Merino, and everyone involved. Thank you, and I'll see you all in October. Thank you.